The latest Warcry FAQ update errata, whatever you want to call it, is finally out. And there's a lot of stuff. There have been a lot of new units added. There have been a lot of rules changes. There's been all sorts of things. And as part of that, we've seen the inclusion of all of the new Bladeborn miniatures for Warhammer Underworlds. And we've seen the inclusion of a whole bunch of additional things that Games Workshop has been producing for Age of Sigmar over the last few months, let's say a year. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to take a look at all of those new units that have been added via the FAQ. I'm not going to do a whole man reads book thing because that's boring. So I'm going to give my honest opinions on these guys. I'm going to give some of my insight into whether I think they're good or not, whether I think they're going to be prominent in the top end of the Warcry meta, or if they're just something that is just a little bit of fun that you can include in your warbands just to play with the models that you have. We're getting there. Slowly and surely. Yeah, I know things have been a bit slow recently, but I'm doing my best here to put out stuff for you. What I wanted to do is I wanted to say a big thank you for everyone who continues to support the channel and continues to support the work that we do here to try and push out these games to more and more people. For you guys who have not yet done so, if you like what you see, please give me a subscribe, give me a like, and comment down in the comment section below about what you think about this video. For you guys who want to throw some more support my way, you can check me out on Patreon, you can become a YouTube member, you can join my Discord. All links for that are going to be down in the comment section below. But again, even if you don't want to, thank you for everyone. Let's carry on. Let's make it a great 2025. But for now, let's get back to the video. So we're going to start with the Knives of the Krone, and that has Canavix, Crater, Hazari, and Azfail. That's what we're doing. Checking out their stats. What have they got? Pretty average. Basically, they are Dark Elves, average stats across the board. They do have 12 wounds, which is kind of a welcome change from, you know, those 8 wound Elf Warhammer Underworlds units. So that's okay. There's nothing here that I'm seeing that would be out of the ordinary. Canavix is not bad for 120 points and 20 wounds to our name. So that might be something that we're able to work with. But let's take a look. I think where these Underworlds warbands are really going to shine are going to be their abilities. So let's take a look at those. The big double that everybody can use is Offerings of Foresight. Offerings of Foresight is basically going to give you prophecy points, depending on how much damage you've done. And I guess what we're going to be doing off the back of that is Canavix is going to be using Rituals of Prophecy to use those prophecy points to actually do kind of fun things. So Rituals of Prophecy, you're basically going to pick one of the effects to give Canavix because it only works on the champion from what I've seen. So what is she going to get? She's going to get bonus move, bonus toughness, or you're going to be allocating prophecy points evenly between attack, strength, and damage. So that means if you've got 4 prophecy points, for example, you can't just load them all into damage. My problem with Offerings of Foresight is that it specifically says that the damage has to be done by this fighter's melee attack activations. So though everybody can use it, their melee attacks aren't fantastically great, I don't think. Tazari might see some use actually, because we're 85 points and 12 wounds. Not entirely terrible, especially with that 2-inch range. I think this is going to be more trouble than it's worth to get off. And personally, I don't really see this warband seeing a whole lot of use. There is something interesting here, though. Crater Wing of the Krone does have basically a teleport double. Gets to remove from the battlefield, put somewhere, and then gets a move action of 3 inches after they set up if the value's high. I would say that if it was more than 6 inches from well-enemy fighters, you didn't even need the entire second part of that. But 100 points for like an emergency teleporter, it's not bad. It just, again, 12 wounds, toughness 3 will kind of fall apart. They do, of course, benefit from the counter change. So counter's basically dead in effect, unless you're in a situation where you know that you're going to die from a thing. I don't really see much of a use in counter. So at least they have that going for them. But yeah, so far, not. I wouldn't say that this one is going to be essential for you guys to pick up. Okay, Order of Azyr gets Galen Van Dens, Doralia Von Dens, and Jelson Garrick to be included in your warband. So finally, these guys are out. Galen and Doralia, they came out like ages ago, those models. So it's nice to see that they're going to be in there. They have a bunch of new abilities going on. Doralia Von Dens has Banishment. So we're going to add 1 by each hit and critical hit from missile attack actions. So basically, she's going to become on a double, a 15-inch range, strength 4, 2-5 damage profile. It's okay. She's not quite Pock for the same price. She is a bit bulkier than Pock, actually. They both have toughness 4, but she's got the 18 wounds, which is kind of nice. I would say if you had to pick, I would still go for Pock over Doralia. And then on top of that, Jelson has Judgment. Missile attack action, score critical hit on a 5. Okay, that's a bit better, I think. He's got the elite and hero remarks. Let's see what exactly that gives us. So the hero remark will give us access to Brand of Righteousness, just like all of the other witch hunters, which is fine. He also has the quad Hallowed Vengeance. So after he kills a guy, every warrior gets to make a bonus attack action. So that's okay. I think Jelson Darroch is better than Doralia. I mean, Jelson Darroch is more expensive than Doralia. I like the fact that he's got strength 5 in combat. That's not bad. 3-5-2-4. That's really good, actually. That's not bad. So what are we saying? Are we going to bring him over someone like Hanover Toll, who is much cheaper? Or Haskell Hexbane? Like, Hexbane, for me, is still one of the premier heroes in Order of Azyr, right? Like, his gun is better just because it has more shots. In combat, he's okay. So maybe we're looking at Jelson Darroch. Galen Van Denst is fine. I think, in fact, his stat line is the same as... Is it the same? 4-3-2-4? No, his stat line is very similar to Hexbane, except he gets strength 4 as opposed to 4 attacks. He does cost 10 points more. His additional remarks doesn't really give him any additional abilities over Hexbane, so I think these are side grades, basically. Basically, here's the thing about Order of Azyr. They have a lot of guns, and it's about picking which guns that you want. I think Doralia is fine. I think her double banishment is okay. Jelson Darroch is all right, but I don't think for 185 going to be bringing him. So it's really, do you want to bring Galen? Do you want to bring Haskell or any of their other heroes? I think that's where we're going to be with Order. Stormcast Eternals get the new Underworld's Warband that was in the starter set. What is it called? The Ember Watch. Ember Watch is what they're called. So they're going to get Ardent Flame Runner, they're going to get Faster Twice Risen, and they're going to get Uric Velzane. That's a word. So for a double, we've got Quiver of Tricks. Uric, I guess, is going to get this one because he's the bow guy. You're going to pick one of 2 effects. Pick a guy within 12, go -1 move. That's honestly not bad, and it's kind of funny, actually. You do it on something like a Vexmore, he goes down to move 2, or like a Mega Boss, and they go down to move 2. For a double, that isn't awful, and 12-inch range is enough range that they can make use out of it. Or second ability, we're going to pick an objective. If you move and you end within 3 inches of that objective, it'll explode. As a reaction. Why a reaction? Oh! Allocate D3 damage points to them as a reaction. Does this mean... Okay, this is gonna need... I'm going to need clarification for this one. Does this mean that if an enemy fighter finishes a move, and it does a move action, it then automatically reacts to take D3 damage? Is that the way it works? If so, this is an amazing double. If not, I'm not entirely sure how it works, but... Uric isn't bad. 180 points is okay. What we're seeing here is the stat lines of these guys aren't fantastic. I mean, Fast and Twice Born is alright. Lots of attacks. Decent enough damage profile. Only 150 points, which is pretty good. They all have that ranged attack. But yeah, melee profile is not fantastic. But I think Farsa is genuinely well pointed. What does Farsa have? So Farsa Twice Risen. Now, in the background, Farsa basically comes back to life, and I guess that's what this is about. Your duty remains undone. So you get to pick an Ember Watch and a champion that's been taken down, which is basically Farsa. Then you roll a number of dice equal to the value of the ability, and it rolls with 3, it's a Resurrect. Okay, so it's worse than a normal Resurrect. How many wounds does it come back with? The amount of rolls of a 3+ that were made. Okay, so it's basically a Resurrect that can fail on a triple. Who gets this? The leader gets this. So Arden can bring Faster back to life, but it's not guaranteed. It's on any rolls of a 3 or more, it'll come back to life. So you ideally want the 333 at least to be doing this to, like, almost guarantee what you're doing. I think it's okay. The problem is, are you going to bring Ardorn and Farsa in the same warband? I don't think so, because it's a lot of points to have to push into one Resurrecting Stormcast trick. They all get Raptors of Sigmar, which actually is quite good. It's a quad, sure. Pick a fighter within 1 inch, roll a dice for every damage point allocated. So if something had taken 20 damage, you're going to roll 20 dice. Roll 3 or more, you're going to allocate 1 damage, and then you're going to add 1 to the roll if this fight has the hero mark. This is actually kind of crazy. I think this is a good ability. What Ardon gets to do is he gets to walk up to an already wounded thing, roll as many dice as it had taken wounds. Then on the 2, because he's the hero, he gets to do that damage back. Or do 1 damage, rather. That's not bad, actually. That's changed my opinion of this guy. What are they? They're Vanguard Auxiliaries. So they will get to teleport because they are Stormcast. You can ally them in to other Stormcast warbands without breaking the battle trait. So that's okay. I don't think we're going to be looking at Uruk. I don't think Uruk is going to be the thing. But definitely Farsa and Ardon might be a thing if you're running Vanguard Chamber. For Seraphon, we are looking at the Guardians of Itzl. I think these guys are called. They get 3 guys, Krojax, Sokar, and Rotak the Guardian. Krojax is an absolute unit of a Saurus warrior. Toughness 5, 30 wounds. 4535 is a genuinely good damage profile. I kind of like that. He wins on 3s, 4 attacks. You could bless him up. He's just a little bit slow, right? There are other things in his points bracket that are faster that could potentially do more damage. But he's also got his 2 buddies, 140 and 150 points. What's the difference? Rotak gets a spear, and that's basically it. So Rotak gets to have 1 additional point of range for 10 points. Dedicated Guardians. So cannot be targets. Yeah, okay. So these guys can basically protect Krojax exactly like the Sons of Velmorn character, what's his name? The toughest skeleton in the world. I can't remember. That guy and Storm Vermin. That's interesting, actually. I don't think you would bring both. I think you'd bring one of them, probably Sokar, because you don't really need the extra range. But bringing Krojax and Sokar using a double to protect Krojax for another 16 wounds that you got to chew through, I think isn't all that bad. Their thing that they can do is Sotex Venomites. So you get to pick a guy within 6, give them a Venomite token, and every time you target an enemy fighter and you crit, you're going to do D3 extra damage every time you crit, as long as you roll a double. And it says after that attack action has been resolved, if it's slain, remove the token they have from the battlefield. So you get 1 token in the box. This is interesting, right? So basically, you use the Venomite token, you give it to the guy. When it dies, it gets removed. No enemy fighters has it, and then you can use Sotex Venomites again. To be honest, I don't think you're going to be using this all that much. I think the whole Krojax Sokar combo is what you're going to be doing. He does have a quad, Sunblood Quickening, which is +3 move. Oh, it's move. Is it actually move? Yes. Okay, so I think this is the first free move that Seraphon gets. It is on a quad, but you add 3 to the move of all friendly fighters with Seraphon that aren't mounted or fly, as long as they're within 6 inches. So it's like Big War, basically, is what it has. You know what? Stopping Krojax might be going up. I think as this almost, what do I want to call it? As this almost Annihilator Prime style fighter that you can bring with his dude Sokar to protect him, then with amazing movement on, I guess it's a quad and no quads aren't really going to be everywhere, but being able to do that isn't bad. Like, it does say visible friendly fighters, so he can't move himself, but he gets to move Sokar at least. And do they have, so they all have the warrior remarks and they all get to tearing bite as well? I think that's pretty good. And that's, in fact, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to compare Krojax to a Kroxigor. I think that's what we're going to do. Right, so a Kroxigor, yeah, the Krojax got the same toughness, he's got more wounds, he's got arguably a better damage profile than a Warspawn, let's say. I know everyone likes to bring the normal Kroxigor and then bless them up, but even if you bless up a normal Kroxigor, it goes to 3, 6, 4, 8. Whereas this guy is 4, 5, 3, 5, at basically a similar points value. I like Krojax. I would bring him instead of a blessed Kroxigor, because I think he brings enough to the table with dedicated Guardians and Tearing Bite that he can do things. I like it. Okay, going on to Idoneth Deepkin. They get their 2 new guys, Icon of the Sea and Icon of the Storm. Stats, not amazing. What abilities do they have? The Icon of the Sea has Surging Sea, so friendly Idoneth Deepkin get +2 move on a triple. Yeah, so this is kind of like normal war. Instead of adding plus half the value of the ability, you're just getting +2. And it's friendly fight without an Deepkin, so it gets to activate it itself. So it's more move in Deepkin. We know Deepkin aren't that good. Deepkin have their own internal problems, but I think as a hero that can move things around, I don't think this is necessarily all that bad. It just needs a good thing to be able to move around. An Icon of the Storm, it has Whirlpool's Fury, no disengages within 3, -1 damage points allocated to friendly fighters by each hit made by those enemy fighters. Okay, so it gets used. Well, you know what? As I'm thinking about this, Icon of the Storm is a 5/4/2/5. It's triple. You can't disengage for it, and then you're basically -1 damage from hits. It only says hits, so not hits and crits, but something that's like a 2/4 suddenly becomes a 1/4, and that's not insignificant against the Icon of the Storm. I think these heroes are fine. I just don't think that Deepkin are in the place that they need to be able to really make use out of them. So maybe at some point in the future, if Games Workshop sees fit to redo Deepkin or do something else with Deepkin, these guys could be all right. Okay, Zikkit's Tunnelpack. I've been waiting for this one. I love this Underworld's Warband. I think they're great. They're so characterful. Let's see if they're any good. You've got Zikkit, which for 205 points is a bit squishy. I would prefer if he was less squishy. Much less squishy because he's 18 wounds. But 4/4/2/4 is okay. Not awesome for 200 points. Retak is the guy in the mini Doom wheel. A 3/6/3/4. That's not bad, actually. 8-inch move, 22 wounds, 225. That's a lot better. I think we can do stuff with Retak. Kritatok is the guy with the gas mask, 80 points, 4/3/1/3. I think what we're seeing is that the bad guys kind of look bad. Like, the chaff look bad, because I'm pretty sure what they were doing is they learned their lesson and they're putting them outside of Resurrect range with the faction battle trait. I think that's what they're doing. Critical isn't amazing. Nichsin Scout is not bad. 8 wounds for 100 points. Yeah, real squishy. Tick, 1/1/1/1/1. I love that profile. Cannot be resurrected though. So what do they do? So they all have a double tunnel skipper. It's a teleport. Not bad, is it? Like, teleport anywhere? Is it anywhere? Yeah, basically anywhere. Okay, I think so. Their whole thing is going to be this ability to teleport. Right, let's look at their other abilities. They've got Tick. If Tick is taken down, then friendly Tick gets revived. Okay, that's not bad. It can't move, but it can still... Oh, no, set up a friendly Tick. Okay, so it's not a revive, so it gets to activate, and it just becomes a weight counter. Okay, so you get to bring Tick back to life if it's been taken down. It's another form of resurrect, I guess, if you're going to take Tick. Anyone can use this double, so it doesn't have to be Zikkit. You could have one of the other guys. You could take, like, Kritatok and Tick. Use Kritatok to bring Tick back to life, keep him at the back, and do things. I think that might be a worthwhile combo, especially considering it's only on a double as opposed to a triple, which is the other good resurrect in Skaven, which is from Spikeclaw Swarm. Tick has a double kaboom, allocate D3 damage points to each enemy fighter, gain a wild dice, and then kill him. That's really good. That's really good. That's worth taking. If Tick can get there, he'll be able to do it. Tick is not as fast as other giant rats, though. Giant rats are normally 8 or 7, whatever they are. He's only 6. So, you know what? If he can get there, blow himself up, and then use Kritatok or one of these guys to bring back to life, that could be it. Retak Vroom gets Vroom. It's like a teleport, but it's not a teleport. It's go off of one table edge and then come on another table edge. So it gets around some of the range requirements that Tunnel Scritter does. It's on a triple as opposed to a double. But what it would allow you to do is got no minimum where X is equal to the roll. Yeah, so he's basically always between Vroom and between Tunnel Scritter. He's always within move attack distance, which honestly isn't bad, right? I don't know the base of Retak Vroom, but I guess it's not super big. So maybe we're not going to be doing like whole, oh, I'm going to run into your deployment group and mess you up. But being able to get from one side of the battlefield to the other just kind of instantly isn't terrible, even though I think you're going to be getting more use out of Tunnel Skither instead. And then Zikkit, sorry, has a quad, roll 6 dice, equal to or less, allocate 1 damage point. Right, so you basically keep rolling. So it does a bunch of damage on a quad, and you keep rolling until you're not doing damage anymore. It's okay. I think Zikkit's Tunnelpack, I think some of them are usable. I think Ritak Room is probably the most usable out of all of them in terms of his stat line, what he brings to the table, his wounds, and his abilities. Kritatonk doesn't have any abilities of his own, so I think instead of Kritatonk, you'd be bringing just like normal Skaven because they fall underneath that 70-point resurrect barrier. Taking Ritak and Tick might totally be a thing. Because Ritak can survive, Tick can run into a thing, blow itself up, Ritak can bring it back to life. Is it within range? How far away is it? Within 1 inch of the fighter. Ritak wants to be in fights anyway, so running into fights, bringing Tick back to life, that could... It could be a thing, I think. Zikkit's okay, but I think Ritak is where we're going. Blades of Khorne get 2 new units. They finally get the Realmgore Ritualist. 342, 400. 130 points is legit cheap, I think. That's not bad for Khorne. Most of the fighters are actually pretty expensive because they have, like, stats that you need to spend. She gets desecrating blood runes. So you get to do blood runes on a piece of terrain, and then if you crit, you do d3 damage. Can you keep using it? It's a triple. No, for the rest of the battle round. Okay, so it's very awkward to use the Realmgore Ritualist. But if we look at the rest of her rune marks, I'm pretty sure, yeah, good. So she gets Bloodbind. So that's the pull, right? Which I think that makes her the cheapest source of pull. Yeah, so you've got the Slaughter Priest, which is 185 or 195, depending on which one you bring. She's now 130 for that pull. And she's an allyable pull. She's 10 points cheaper than the Great Bray Shaman, 15 points cheaper than the Great Bray Shaman, which does make her the cheapest allyable pull in Chaos, not including what's her face, Ephelim and the Stairfish, because you need to bring them both if you're going to do that. So I think even just for that, she might see use in some kind of niche way. The other fighter that is here is Senior Choppy, the big boy himself, the Khorne of Khorne, big buff dude with shield. Seriously, good stat line. Toughness 5, 26 wounds is great, 180 wounds is great. His ability kills instantly. Wow, crazy. What? Why? Pick an enemy fighter that's been allocated damage. Number of those equal to this ability on any unmodified rolls of 6. Number of damage points equal to their health characteristics. So he can kill anything. He's got to allocate at least 1 point of damage. So out of his, let's say he move attacks. So he's going to move 4. He's going to attack at 1 inch. If he does 1 point of damage and you've got a triple, if it's a triple 6, you're going to be rolling 6 dice. And a roll of 6, you insta kill whatever you get. I think this guy's a meme, but you know what? The day that he runs into like a Gut Lord, swings and hits that 6, that's the day he's going to get hit. In terms of points, his stat line isn't bad. It's legitimately not bad at strength 5, 3, 4. I think this is good. I think you could run this, even if it's just as a thing that forces your... I think when you're thinking about characters and what they're used for, think about something like Vexmore. Yes, Vexmore can kill basically anything, and that's kind of his job. But what it's really good for is zonal control, area of denial. And if your opponent knows that you have this guy, and he sees that triple on the bench, the thought process behind that is, okay, my big thing cannot go anywhere near this because there is a chance that I might get one shot. That's interesting. Watch this space. Okay, next up we have Grandfather's Gardeners with the best names. Flimmus, Bug-Eye, Slunge, Maggot-y Sprug, and Squat. Squat's the best boy. Basically all Plague Bearers. You know what? They are priced very reasonably compared to Plague Bearers. 55, 55, 60. Your basic Plague Bearer is what, 55? Let's check. 60 points. Okay, so you've got a couple of guys that are cheaper than Plague Bearers. One that's the same cost as a Plague Bearer. I think he basically trades in 2 points of crit for an extra point of damage and an extra point of range. So Maggot-y Strug is actually not bad. Bug-Eye is 25 points more than a Plague Bearer, but he gets 5 wounds, which is really nice. That stat line's okay. It's not fantastic. And Flemus isn't all that expensive. 160 points, 25 wounds. What do they do, though? So they got double grey infections. You get a cycle counter first, and then you roll a dice. If it's equal to or less than the... if you have a high double and you roll under the double, you get the ability dice back you spent. Okay, so it's basically free as long as the double's high enough. And then you get +1 crit for each cycle counter. And they stack. These are good. These are legitimately good. They're slow, but they're good. Can Bugulon use it? Yeah, so they all get to use it to go bonus crit on a double, and if your doubles are high enough, you get 3 doubles back. I think this is legitimately interesting. I would build around this. If I was building a Nurgle Warband, I would take these guys as normal Plague Bearers. Yeah, sure, some of them are more expensive, but I don't think it matters because I think this is a interesting enough ability. The Beast Boy, Squat, you pick an enemy fighter, it's just flat damage on a d6, and if you do 5 damage, it kills itself. Oh. So it's always going to do at least 1 damage. It'll do between 1 and 6 damage, and if you do 5 or more, you know, Squat is legit good. I know it's only got 6 wounds, but Squat is legit fine. And then on a triple, the big boy gets... each friendly fighter's cycle counters must be given to another friendly fighter on the battlefield. Each fighter may only be given... okay, so Grand Cycle of Decay allows you to basically move cycle counters around. I don't think we're going to be using Grand Cycle of Decay all that much. I think every Nurgle Warband is going to bring Squat because he's just funny, a little bit faster than your normal guys. He gives up a whole bunch of wounds, but just to do a flat d6 damage on a double, I think is worthwhile. I think every Nurgle Warband is going to see Slunge and Maggot Estrug because I see them as just better than normal Plague Bearers. I don't know if that means that we're going to see Flemus Potbelly, but for 25 wounds at 160 points, I think he's legitimately fine. Bug-Eye Dripderius kind of falls into that middle ground, which honestly a lot of these like middling fighters fall into in these Bladeborn Warbands, where it's just too expensive that you would want to bring it, and just kind of not good enough for that. Do they get any extra abilities that I'm missing? So the basic Plague Bearers get Cloud of Flies, like normal Plague Bearers do. Squat doesn't get anything... no, Squat isn't a beast. Is that the Ferocious move? Alright, that's the Ferocious move. Okay, and the Squat doesn't get anything cool additionally. So they don't get any additional abilities. Flemus, of course, gets the hero abilities that Demons of Nurgle would normally get. So he's okay. I think these 3, right? Slunge, Sprogue, and Squat. Those are the guys we're going to see. Going into death, Cado, Azyr, Aurelius, and Sisendra comes in. Finally, Cado is here. 4526, not a bad profile. 235 points, sure. Doesn't have the fly that your basic vampire has. What abilities do they have? So Cado gets to, on a quad, which is frankly huge, +1 attack and damage characteristics. Okay, so it goes to a 5-5-3-7, which is not bad. You pick one of the effects, and 3 to the fighter's move characteristic and fly until the end of the activation. It's not a great quad. I'm not going to lie. It's not fantastic. Aurelius is our snake dude. He gets access to arcane expertise. So you pick a friendly fight, a Hollow Blade hero. So basically Cado and Azyr. Oh no, both of them. Sisendra is also a hero. They're all heroes. Ooh, that's interesting. Yes, they are all heroes. I'm going mad. So it's basically use a triple on this guy to give another guy Rush, Onslaught, or Respite. What is the value of Respite? Respite needs value, right? Yes. So Respite, how does this work? This needs to be looked at. Because if you're allowed to use Respite, Respite depends on the value of the ability, but if that other hero is using it, they don't, without dice, they don't have a value of the ability. So do you use the value of Arcane Expertise? Maybe that's kind of how I would play it, but otherwise it needs to be looked at. Sisendra has Graceful Killer. As a triple, it's basically a free move action if you are 3 inches away. And then after you've finished, you get to make another free move action 3 inches away from all enemy fighters. You kind of jump in and then jump out. Are they good? So they're all heroes, which is fine. Stat lines are okay. I would say Cado is kind of overpriced. Aurelius is a wizard. Yes, he gets to use Necrotic Siphon, so he gets to basically heal up. He gets to use Van Hal's Dance Macabre. I think out of all of this, Aurelius might be the one. Although they can kind of all do what they need to do. I think they're okay. I think they're very average. We also have new White Lord on Skeletal Steed. 3525, 215. Good stats. Good points. I think he's fine. White Lord, you're great. All right. Nighthaunt. So they get the new Lord Vitriolic that was literally, like, very recently been announced. 25 wounds for 140. Legitimately, it's not bad. So ranged attack is okay. I think this makes him one of the better cheap resurrect caddies, in my opinion. I think this is definitely something you can do. His triple, if a fighter's taken damage from the missile attack action, you get +1 to the damage points from each hit. Okay, so it's expensive. The thing is, Nighthaunt have so many good triples. They're either going to be resurrecting or they're going to be using Frightful Touch. This allows you to do something without Frightful Touch, I guess, and to get like a weird fake Frightful Touch ability on multiple guys instead of having one guy go crazy. They do still have their battle trait to go up to +1 strength. Maybe the Lord Vitriolic's good. Maybe he's alright. He is 140, so again, the cheapest like resurrect caddy, and he is bulky at 25 wounds. So I think he's okay. I don't think he's going to be taking the top spot anytime soon. I don't think he's going to beat out the Wielder of the Blade. I definitely don't think he's going to beat out, for me at least, the Krulghar's Cruciator, but it's fine. Flesh Eater Courts. Now this is interesting. Okay, so Flesh Eater Courts get High Falconer Felgryn, who's a hero, and not part of like a weird little warband like Ezio is. If this is part of a new trend by Games Workshop to give smaller Warcry scale heroes to the game, I think that could be good. But Felgryn himself, what has he got? 18 moves, which is okay. 160 points, okay. Stat line, not anything to write home about. His triple, he shoots the bird at you. If you've done any damage points from the missile attacks, again, very similar to the Lord Vitriolic's ability. He gets a Grape token. Grape is the name of his bird. You can't crit. He's got 20. Okay. He's got 20-inch range. All he's got to do is hit. What is it? Any points this activation. So basically, he's on 20-inch range. He's got 4 dice to roll a 5 or a 6. And if he does that, the fighter cannot crit. And if you heal, I guess Growth is pecking out your eyes. So if you heal, your eyes go back magically. Felgryn is good. I legitimately think he's good. Flesh Eater Courts is one of those weird warbands that has a whole bunch of tech pieces, and this is just another one in the line of tech pieces. But in a world where we're still going to have things like Gut Wars running around and Vexmore running around and all these really high critting things, basically, having something like Felgryn and just bringing him in and going, okay, well, turn 1, oh, my bird hits you, so I'm going to use this triple so you can never crit unless you stand still and use a triple to heal. I think that's great. I think Felgryn is great. I think you're going to see him in Death Warbands. Definitely. Right, going into Goblins. Now, Goblins, of course, got a whole bunch of points cuts. They also get Snarlpack, right? Snarlpack Cavalry and the Snarlpack Boss, which is a hero. 280 points is really expensive, but toughness 5 and a high amount of wounds isn't all that bad. It's something that Goblins can't do at the moment. And that boss is legit good. 4534. Okay, let's compare that to... I'm thinking about the Squig Hobble boss. Loon boss on Giant Cave Squig. So, comparatively speaking, this thing is tougher. They are the same speed. It doesn't have fly like the Rune boss does. 4525 versus 4534. I would say the Snarlpack boss is better than the Loon boss on Cave Squig. The Cavalry is actually not that bad. 2-inch range, sure, only 3 attacks, but as something to go in and to... This is really something that Goblins don't have and didn't have, like, until now, right? As something to go into a entire deployment group and tie up a unit of chaff, you can do a lot worse than 25 wounds at toughness 5. And it's got movement 8. I think this could be good. What have they got? Slavering Jaws. if they kill the guy, they make a bonus move. And then if they use that bonus move to go into range of a thing, they go up to toughness 6 for the rest of the battle round. I don't know how much use Slaveric Jaws will be. Do they have any other abilities? No, there are no Ferocious Remark abilities that I can see. The boss will get Stab Good, which is +1 attack. Visible friendly fights when they're within 6. I don't know how much use you're going to get out of that because he's going to be like zipping about, but I think these are fine. I think these are legitimately good. Within goblins, right? Like there are other things within destruction that they are competing against, and like what I would think by looking at this, I would say something like the clawback, but the clawback. So it's not as many wounds as the clawback. It's got toughness 5 as opposed to toughness 3, but honestly, it's not a terrible damage profile. I'm talking about Snarlpack Cavalry versus the clawback specifically, because the Snarlpack boss is way more expensive than the clawback. But maybe, I think internally this is something nice for goblins. I don't think it'll make any big difference for destruction itself. Alright, next up we have Borgit's Beast-Grabbaz. You got the tiny, where is he? The tiny Uglug. The tiny troll. I'm very sorry for people who thought he was going to have like 1 attack at strength 6 doing like 6/6 damage. It's just a 3/4/2/4. But 120 points for 20 wounds isn't all that bad. They got Borgit, Uglug, Brigand Sham, Snags, and Hoblin Dreg. Snags looks like a goblin. Their stat lines are basically goblins. So what do they do? That's the question. So the leader gets Shank That Git. If there are no enemy trophies... Okay, we're doing tokens. This is the update of tokens when everyone gets a token. Pick a visible fighter to be the trophy until they're taken down. Add 2 attacks. Okay, that's... You know what? On a double, that's not terrible. Of melee attack actions made by friendly... It's not other friendly fighters, so... Theoretically speaking, Borgit could be in combat with a thing. Use Shank That Git. He would go to a 6/4/2/4 and then get to attack twice. It's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. Like, I think just as like this weird off fight, I think he's okay. They all get to use Debate. Okay, so it basically forces you to fight whatever Debate is going to be. Enemy fights with visible 2 within a range number of inches equal of Debate. Yeah, so if they have a weapon that's in range of the bait, they have to attack the bait. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know if you want to go all in on this, right? And bring like Borgit, Brig, Snags, and Dreg or something, and then basically use Borgit to make... Oh no, they have to attack it. They have to attack it. Meaning it doesn't matter what else they want to attack. If you're in range of the bait, you have to attack the bait. That's not terrible. In destruction, let's think about destruction for a second here. What are they? So the movement force, it's not super fast, but it goes 6-inch range to get to the bait, and then the thing has to attack it. There might be something here. I think there might be something here to this. And they have a quad, Dittish tactics. So it's basically pack tactics. I don't expect these guys with their 6/6 and 10 wounds to be able to survive all that. So that's not really what we're looking at. I think, you know what? I think goblins came out of this really well. They get these guys, they get the wolves, they get all the points breaks. Goblins might be good. And that's fine. I want to see goblins do well. So maybe goblins are the thing now. Cool boys get the Hobgrot Slittaboss, who is a hero now. 140 points, 4/4/2/3. It's fine. Keep your heads down and Scarpa lads. +1 toughness, +1 move of all Hobgrots within range. Is it? Okay, so it's not visible. So, you know what? Again, this isn't terrible. And I know, right, it's unlikely you're going to be bringing Hobgrots, right? But if you wanted to bring Hobgrots, the boss isn't bad because he makes Hobgrots like movement 5 and toughness. They got toughness 4 or 5. Let's see. Yeah, so your basic Hobgrot Slitter goes to movement 5, toughness 5, as long as they're within range. And they got a 2/4/2/4 gun. I don't know, maybe. It's not a terrible hero. So I don't think it'll make any massive difference like in the competitive scene. But if you had it, it's not awful. That looks to be everything that I can see in this update. It's a lot of fighters, What do you think? I think that Goblins have been eating well. I think Skaven, they're just good anyway, even with the nerfs that came in. Skaven will still be doing good. I think Nurgle Demons could be a thing, right? You could build a warband. It doesn't necessarily need to be Nurgle Demons, but you could build a warband around Grandfather's Gardeners, and that might actually be pretty good. So yeah, I think it's going to be exciting times. A lot of stuff has gone in. So yeah, I look forward to the next 6 months of Warcry, and hopefully we'll see some of these new miniatures being used.